It'll be good for the economy, is what we were told. Well, 30 years ago, 7% of the workforce were foreign-born. Today, 21% are foreign-born. Directly led to a pay cut, on average, of about 3% per worker, which, of course, doesn't really mean very much if you're earning big money. But if you're earning £20,000 a year, it does mean quite a lot. And interestingly, the Bank of England in 2015 produced a report showing a direct link between numbers of foreign-born workers and wage suppression, yet the whole thing was completely and utterly covered up. The impact, of course, on wages is worse than that, given that there are 500,000, 700,000, who knows, people working in the illegal economy, leading to further wage suppression. The greatest myth, of course, is that it will be good for us, and you must stop moaning about it, because everybody that is here has come to work. Well, try this statistic for size. Foreign-born workers are 40% higher likely to be unemployed than British-born workers. 40% higher for foreign-born people to be on the unemployment register. It's not a statistic I'd ever heard before. It's pretty mind-blowing. And even the argument that, look, most people come here to work, so what is there to complain about? Well, I'm afraid that doesn't work either, because in the last 6 years, net 3 million people have settled in Britain from outside of Europe, and of those, only 16% came on work visas. It's a completely mind-blowing number. Now, it's true to say that many of those who've come perhaps will enter the workforce, but you begin to understand that the argument for mass migration, that it's needed for the labour market, actually isn't true, where the majority that come as dependents. The Centre for Migration Studies recently published that since 2020, unemployment benefits to foreign-born people have been £36 billion. We are talking simply about eye-watering numbers. The other statistic that I was surprised by was that low-paid migrants on average cost the taxpayer £150,000 by the time they reach retirement, let alone what that will be afterwards. So let us be clear. Non-selective, in many cases non-working, mass migration into Britain has made everybody in this country poorer, except, of course, for big employers who love as much cheap migrant foreign labour as they can possibly get their hands on, as the argument grows every year that British people simply won't do those jobs. But we're told it's okay, because we're growing, we're getting richer. Gross domestic product is going up, and that's the only measure that anybody on the two front benches in Parliament will ever talk about. I did try the other day with Rachel Reeves, and she's trying too, but I did try to make the argument that actually GDP in gross figures doesn't mean very much when you have a population that's rising by 750,000 or 1 million every year directly as a result of open borders. Why not look at GDP per capita? But no, nobody wants to engage with that. Well, the last 2 years have seen record levels of migration into Britain, and GDP per capita has fallen in 6 of the last 8 quarters. We are getting poorer as a result of policies started by the Labour Party, accelerated by the Conservative Party, and now being continued by Labour. None of which, of course, means that we in this country don't want high-skilled, law-abiding people to come into Britain, to work, pay taxes, add to our society. All of those things are good. But we have to discriminate. Yes, that's the word I'm going to use. It means choose. We have to discriminate in terms of who comes into our country and in what numbers.